Hey guys, welcome back to the yoga bus. Normally I would greet you with a big smile and lots of enthusiasm, but to be quite honest, I'm not feeling that today, and that's totally okay. After a pretty good run of feeling not too tired, my fatigue has returned again, and yeah, I'm just feeling wiped. And also this week I thought I was ready to get started with putting the electrical system together. I thought I just had like some wires, cables and things to buy, but there's been a spanner thrown in the works, which I will come back to. My little dog, Gypsy, her anal gland has exploded today. Probably more information than you wanted to know. So that's gonna cost me not a small amount of money at the vet. And bless her, yeah, it's not nice for her. And yeah, it's just like one of those weeks where I'm just feeling like a little bit overwhelmed with everything, and I keep on thinking that I'm nearly there. I've nearly finished this build, and then something comes up that makes me realise, no, it's gonna be a while longer yet. It's all about staying steady, no matter what is happening. That is the practice that I keep on returning to. The thing is, you know, this is life, and the practice of yoga has taught me to stay steady, or to stay steady-ish, at least, let's say, no matter what is happening, no matter what my internal experience is, whether it's joyful or whether it's frustration, overwhelm, is to remain steady with that. And in fact, that's what we were looking at in my classes, my in-person yoga classes here in Norfolk, ironically, this week. And the thing is, you know, when positive things are happening or negative things are happening, or what seems positive or negative, we don't actually know at the time how that's going to pan out. So we just need to remain with it. And it's brought to mind a story of the Chinese farmer. Now, I heard this told by Alan Watts. I can't tell it like him, but I'll give it a go. So there was a farmer, and he had a beautiful horse. And one day it ran away. And all of his neighbours came around and they said, "Oh, how terrible. We're so sorry." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The following week, his horse returned, and it brought with it another absolutely stunning horse. And all of his neighbours came around and said, "Oh, wow, this is amazing. You're so lucky." And he said, "Maybe." The following week, his son is breaking the horse in and falls and breaks his leg. And all of his neighbours gather around once more and they say, "Oh, it's terrible. We're so sorry." He says, "Maybe." The following week, an official comes around the village conscripting young men to go to war, and his son can't go because he's got a broken leg. So again, his neighbours gather around and they say, "Oh, you're so lucky." He says, "Maybe." And yeah, the moral of that story is we just don't know at the time when things are happening whether they're going to turn out to be good or bad. It depends what follows. It depends what comes after. And I think we can all think of things in our lives, times in our lives when something happened and we thought it was really positive and actually it turned sour. Or we thought something really bad had happened and actually good things came out of it. So that's what I'm just remaining with this week. Nothing's that bad. It's just, not going as I wanted it to go. So just quickly to fill you in on what's happening with my electrical system is that I had managed to put together a wiring diagram, an initial one, and I was kind of understanding how everything goes together and how everything works without actually having the practical skills to do it, but understanding, what's happening, what's going on. But I was feeling like really overwhelmed by actually putting it together. And, I take electricity very seriously. There's a fire risk if you don't do things properly. And the last thing I want is a fire in my van. So I contacted an auto electrician he seems like a really friendly guy, really helpful, and told him, what components I had and what my system needed to do, and asked him for a quote of how much he would charge to install it. And he said he wouldn't use the kit that I have bought. So I have a Renogy 2000 watt inverter charger, which he says is fine. Let's use that. But the 50 amp DC to DC charger with MPPT, which is what charges my leisure battery from my vehicle battery and from my solar. He says that they're really unreliable and they have actually been known to set on fire. So I've checked this out, and yeah, there are stories of them setting on fire. And now I'm just questioning that piece of kit. I don't know. There's a major question mark over it at the moment. I'm unwilling really to take a risk with that. Even if it doesn't catch on fire, the fact that it's unreliable, do I want to, have spent my money on that? So I'm just sitting with that at the moment. If anybody's got their opinion, weigh in with it, because I've put it on Facebook and, there's lots of opinions out there. Lots of people rating Renogy. There's always the people who love Victron. If you know anything about camper vans, these are the two big electrical brands. I'm just sitting with it at the moment, but it does mean that I'm not going on right now with the electrics. So it's been a plan change. That was what we was going to do next. That's no longer happening. I'm just waiting to see what arises really, and not rushing to make a decision about whether I actually buy the Victron equivalent MPPT and DC to DC charger, 2 separate units. I don't know. I'm leaning towards getting the Victron, I think, but I'm sitting with it. In the meantime, I got all of these kitchen cupboard doors free, completely free, off of Facebook. Someone was chucking them out. I'm going to be able to use them in my van, hopefully. So I've worked out which ones I'm going to use in the kitchen. I pretty much have that worked out, and now I'm working out the space that's going to be underneath my bed. So I'm just, stepping back, reconfiguring my plans, and accepting that it's going to take longer still than I thought. I'm actually sleeping out here right now because the weather's nice, and it feels good. It feels good to sleep out here. So anyway, folks, that's all for today. Stay steady. Take care, everybody. Mwah.